Christmas means different things to different people. To some, it's all about the food. Some look forward to the giving and receiving of presents. But to this family, Christmas is all about togetherness. That's why it's been an honor to have been invited by the family of the Ambassador of the United States to Malaysia and celebrate Christmas the old way. The life of a diplomat means having to live and work all over the world. Being posted in Malaysia for almost 3 years, the Jones family has gotten used to celebrating Christmas in different countries, bringing with them their family traditions that remind them of home. And one way that can help is preparing authentic Christmas dishes that the family loves so much. Yes, just like any other festive season, food plays an integral part. And today Mrs. Jones is going to show us how to do a plum and blueberry trifle.
This is a dessert that used to be made with leftovers. So it was basically jam, and you can do this at home very simply with jam, any kind of sponge that you have, and it was usually day-old sponge that they soaked with sherry or something, or just a simple syrup, and then put the jam on, and then put their English cream on, which is basically the base of an ice cream. It's egg and cream into a creme anglaise, which is an English cream. So what I'm going to show you now is how to slice the plums. And you just want to ideally get the purple plums. It doesn't have to be perfectly ripe because it's hard to get ripe plums, you know, out of the United States or in England. So we're going to cut them into about half-inch pieces.
But the plums are usually a bit sour here.
They are.
Not that ripe, so.
They are. So you need to accommodate with a bit of sugar. Keep going with that. And your pot about this size will be almost full. What we're going to do is we're going to add the blueberries to this. So this is a quarter cup measurement, but depends once again on your blueberries. You can do a half cup, and that might be enough for you.
Yes, if they're sweet.
If they're sweet. And the plums if they're sweet. Otherwise, you just keep on going. I'm going to put about 1 1/4 cups in there. And then, and it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, you know, you can just shove this into the corners or whatever, just so you get pretty good layers.
How many layers would you need?
I'm going to do 4.
Okay.
I think this is enough. This serves quite a bit. It's a very rich dessert, actually. So also, this should have a cinnamon stick or star anise or any spice that you want to add to it. Then this goes on the stove, and I would recommend low heat.
For how long?
About 20 minutes.
Okay, it's not so long.
No, and you want it to the desired consistency. It will get a little thicker as it cools. Just go like a spoonful.
Safe. You're safe.
Because it's going to taste good when you just combine the 3 ingredients.
I'll help you out with this too.
Yeah, please. What I call a southern sweet potato casserole. So what we have are sweet potatoes that are boiled, and then you mash them in an electric mixer. It's the easiest way to do it. You can do it by hand also. You mix in butter and milk, And you do this while they're still warm, so the butter melts and everything. And then you top it off with your own spices, whatever you want. I use cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves.
All right.
So the next layer is the crisp, which is basically brown sugar flour, and pecans, which is another southern nut. And then the final layer of decadence is the marshmallows.
All right. So once we, complete or finish off the layer on top here, where does it go? It goes into the
onto the broiler.
All right.
So
melted marshmallows.
You're gonna have some gooey marshmallows here.
This is not a typical dish that you'd find, because you see we get a lot of dishes like apple pie, apple crumble, but this is not a dish that you'd typically find in Malaysian restaurants.
That's right. No, you would find this in the southern United States, and somebody like me who's from Washington D.C. I got this from a southern friend.
All right.
So this is an authentic piece. Now some people skip the pecan layer and just go right for the marshmallows. So we are going to put this underneath, and then we put it underneath. Take it out and look at it. You can see how it's already becoming golden on this side. So you want to rotate it maybe and put it back in. Okay. There we go. And they get so gooey and yummy. You can smell them too. One more round on this side. Get asked what makes a juicy turkey, and it's brining it. That's really an essential step. So what you have to do is you have to make a brine, which is basically about 6 cups of water, and then I use a couple of cubes of chicken just to give it a little bit of flavor, and then you do half sugar, half salt. So if you do half a cup of sugar, you do half a cup of salt, and then tons of fresh herbs. So there's rosemary, sage, thyme, and parsley. Yes. And this was brined for 15 hours.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then you pull it out, you rinse it off really well, and then you dry it, and you salt it, and pepper it, and oil it, and then you put it in the oven with a piece of foil over it.
All right, so what are you going to do now?
So what I would do is I would drain the grease from the bird, and you end up with a lot of grease. Now, what the good stuff is the one on the bottom. You want the juice, not the grease. Okay. So you can either put this in the freezer for a minute and then skim it off, or just take it off by hand or whatever. But this is the flavor. This is the grease, which has some flavor. There are many ways to carve a bird. The best way is, well, what I'm going to do, if you're doing it at the table, you just want to start doing it this way. Take from the breast and then cut the leg off and then trim the leg, or somebody might want the whole leg. If you're doing it in your kitchen and you put it on a platter, which is how I normally serve it, you're going to take off the entire breast. You're going to pull that off, and then you're going to slice it beautifully. If you're at home and you want to just, I'm going to start by arranging the meat on the platter.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. filled with gifts to share.
And delicious food.
And good cheer.
From the Jones family.
Merry Christmas!
The most exciting for the children who wake up and expect what?
Snow, but there's no snow here, so just presents.
So presents, snow. Obviously, we don't have the snow, but so they expect presents, and then they come down and they basically we exchange gifts and have a brunch, and then as the day progresses, we do Christmas dinner.
Yeah. So we'll have put up stockings the night before, and magically the stockings will be filled when we come down in the morning, and then there'll be other presents under the tree. Some may have been left by Santa Claus, and others are gifts among the family or sent from far away. It's mostly about family and friends and the anticipation of the magic of Christmas, so you can take that anywhere. But it's a little different. Obviously, it's a little different outside of your own, where you grew up, because it's something I think that you associate with your childhood, Christmas, so much. We grew up eating Christmas pudding that my mother made.
Right?
And
That's
what
true.
are the other
Yeah.
British influences?
Well, I don't know. We did the stockings the same way, you know, the same way that they do. We did stockings. Actually, though, for you children, and when I grew up, we put the stockings in the children's bedrooms so that they had something to start off with before they bothered the parents to get up and get down to the tree and start opening presents. So stockings were sort of, it's something to hold the kids' attention for a while. So we did that rather than hang them on the wall.
You had a tradition in your family of your dad reading the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," right? We didn't do that.
Yeah, we
right?
didn't.
We
No.
didn't do that. Though I know the poem. We all know the poem, and I think that's a lot of what we think of Christmas comes from that poem. That comes from sort of the, 1820 or something like that, written. But we have included that, so now in our family we read that poem every night. Christmas Eve, you read the poem before you go to bed, and maybe different members of the family read different parts of it. But it becomes sort of a ritual and gets everyone anticipated, excited about the magic of Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in the hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And we'll let the rest be read on Christmas Eve. Thanks so much.
The final line is, what is it? And Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why it's Christmas Eve.
The ambassador always has his house open to the members of the U.S. Embassy staff, be it for their monthly meetings or for celebrations like Thanksgiving or Christmas. A practice that helps spread the spirit of Christmas and family among the staff members wherever the ambassador is posted. Because for the Joneses, home is wherever the family is, no matter which country they are living in.